So even in my attempt, in one of my greatest attempts to have a long-term, have a life partner and go through the whole boyfriend, girlfriend, engagement to marriage, when I got to engagement, it brought up a lot of fear of, man, will I be able to withstand this?
Withstand it in terms of what? Like
Everything.
Everything. Will I be able to make this go to the point where
rubbing those.
we're going to...
We're rubbing right now.
Yo,
No, I know what you're saying.
Okay, you in a long-term relationship.
Well, he is.
Well, he's married.
He's married.
But you okay? You in a serious relationship?
Yeah, I'm in a serious relationship.
Sorry. How long is a
Love you,
relationship?
baby.
How long has a relationship?
Well, I
been?
mean, okay. So it's been a year and like a year and a half, but it's Hollywood.
So why did you say that part? I live in New York.
That's 5 years. I mean,
okay, that's
in Hollywood, that's
got
5
it,
years.
got it.
That's marriage. And I mean, Temptations is heavy in Hollywood. Just being faithful. It's to me, it's like even with finance, it's commitment.
Yeah.
And once a man makes his mind up and says, "I'm committed to this," then he can do it. I mean, Temptations mean nothing. No matter how much I make girls laugh, all the other crap, it means nothing. Like I made my mind up to leave Chicago, move to Hollywood, and chase my dreams, right?
Right.
So every time it comes to commitment, I have to make my mind up and just stay committed to that. And when I decided to do that, the love gets stronger for that person that you're with. The cohesiveness gets stronger. I mean, y'all become one. So it was pretty much just commitment, man. Being committed. Most guys are afraid of commitment.
I was gonna say that part. I was reading that. Are we all single, not in serious relationship guys? Are we afraid of commitment?
I've been.
Okay.
I mean,
Let's dig deeper on that.
For multiple reasons. Like for me, I'll say that I had a variation of examples growing up to look at as far as relationships, whether married
role
or
models or whatever,
engaged or dating or what have you. And it led to a lot of confusion because I saw a lot of angst, negativity, competition.
Yeah.
But for me, it was the fear of commitment came with that was spawned from a fear of failing, or a fear of not, realizing, committing to something that I really didn't want, and not understanding that you get good at anything you practice.
Right.
Anything you do long enough, you'll get good at it, whether it's good or bad. And
That's very true.
I had to find myself first, and I get an okay amount of attention from women, and I appreciate that. I know by societal standards, what it all means. But for me, it was a matter of do I want this just right now, or do I want this for whatever amount of time? And nothing's guaranteed. And that lack of blueprint or a template to follow exactly. Like my mom and dad had their problems, their issues. They're not perfect, but there was a lot of love in our house. But it was love that was different than what I would do, or how I would do. Like we didn't say, "Hey, I love you, man," a lot, or "Love you, sis." It was just, we showed it. We didn't say it a lot. I like to tell people that I love them. But going back to my point, the fear came from my lack of understanding of who I was and what I really wanted. And so a lot of my dating stuff failed. And I didn't want to place blame. I just tried to figure out what is it that I'm doing, because in any relationship, there's no one person at fault.
Right.
There's always something that is done, whether it be 1% and 99%, but if we're together, if something happens, we are both in part or in whole responsible, whether unevenly or equally. But my level of fear came from lack of understanding who I was and what it was that I really wanted. Because I don't even know what to look for. Somebody said, "All right, this is what you're looking for," but I don't have a map to how to follow and how to get there. So I just, that's why I'm.
At least you're honest.
Right.
Yeah, man.
I appreciate that.
That's a big portion of it right there, just being honest.
Yeah, with yourself.
With yourself.
Yeah, with yourself first, and then realizing like like for me, for instance, I'm recently out of a 5-year relationship that.
In Hollywood, that's 15.
That's 20
Exactly.
years.
Like, y'all with the Hollywood years, like, talking like they talking them like their dog years out here right now. Like,
Hollywood
They're
is real, man.
There's a lot of it's really compact, but
crazy.
it's
All right, I'm in New York.
We
Like,
can get deeper into the Hollywood thing.
we
if you
will.
want to,
Yeah,
but-
It seems like it needs to be deeper
trust
for
me.
selfish personal reasons.
But no, like for me, in the beginning, it was, of course you always have a honeymoon stage in anything that you do. Whether it's a hobby, whether it's a new job, whether it's a relationship, there's always this honeymoon stage. So everything is great. Then you have that period where it's like, now it's becoming stagnant. This is becoming routine. How do we spice it up? How you change it up? Growing up, when there needed to be a change in routine, when it came from me seeing my aunts, even seeing my mom, that routine meant divorce. That routine meant separation. So that was like a repetitive show that I saw growing up, and coming from Oakland, there was a lot of my friends are single parent come from single parent homes. So that was something that was the norm.
Right.
And then, there were those few families that did have the full household. You had the mom, you had the dad, grandparents there, uncles, aunties, cousins, and brothers. That was beautiful. But I never saw really how to get there.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things where, it was always a goal.
Right.
But like you said earlier,
Yeah.
like the blueprint wasn't properly mapped out. So even in my attempt, in one of my greatest attempts to have a long-term, have a life partner and go through the whole boyfriend, girlfriend, engagement to marriage, when I got to engagement, it brought up a lot of fear of, man, will I be able to withstand this?
Withstand it in terms of what? Like
Everything.
Everything. Will I be able to make this go to the point where
rubbing those.
we're going to?
We're rubbing right now.
Yo,
No, I know what you're saying. Though. I know what you're
no, like I don't want to be part of that failure, that cycle, where I'm just another one of those people that you see. Like, yeah, he did it. He got married,
Wow.
but then he broke it off.
I see it almost even different for me personally. I see it as if like having FOMO and being committed, I'm missing out on other things that are opportunistic, if you will, because I'm come from an investment background. I'm a business person, and I'm always weighing like the opportunity costs.
Right.
I'm getting on economics, the gritty. So I see it just a little bit differently. I mean, 50% of people are 50 plus at this point are getting divorces, if you will.
Yeah.
And I just think people are getting married probably for the wrong reasons. Or maybe they're not vetting folks as much as they can. So, I mean, that's just my perspective there.
But can it be? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I can speak to the fear of missing out part, and I think it has a lot to do with how you view marriage, because I was the same way. I viewed my single life, I put it like so high as a priority for me to have the flexibility to be with any woman I wanted, anytime I wanted, and not be locked down. I saw marriage as a negative thing. I saw it as me being locked down.
Right.
I didn't see it as a potential for me to connect with somebody that could ultimately lead me to my destiny, right? So
Wow.
the same reason you came to LA, Kay, was to pursue your dreams, right? What if the missing piece to your dream is a wife that could bring out the best in you, and you and her?
Yeah, I agree.
So whenever I started to look at marriage and understand that, a lot of people are getting divorced, but a lot of them, to your point, are probably doing it for the wrong reasons. We know women grow up from little girls wanting to have a wedding, right? So I know women, even some that I'm close to, that manipulated relationships just to get married. And I'm from the South, so if you get to be 30 years old and you're single, aunties start looking at you
red
crazy.
flag.
You know what I mean?
Like, what's wrong with you?
You funny, like whatever.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of pressure in our community to get married at a certain point, to the point where a lot of people force it, and then it lends itself to a high divorce rate. But I just challenge us to look at marriage as what it could be.
Yeah.
So
And it's a choice. I mean, like, when you're younger and your parents was forcing you to go to church,
Yeah.
and you get older and you realize, like,
I should
okay,
go to
it's my
church.
choice now.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm
do
not
I really believe in this or not? It's the same thing. When you get older, you get wiser and things just start changing.
Some of us do.
Some of us do. I honestly think all men grow and get old. I mean, get wiser when they get older. They just don't want to accept it most of the time because the fear of missing out. Like, you feel like you're missing out on something. And I agree with what he's saying. Like, I really feel like my girl is a piece of my journey. It's like when you read, you guys ever read The Alchemist?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
By Paulo Coelho. It's like all of that is a part of the journey. Like it's the road, it's a part of the road ahead. And the fear of missing out can be good or bad because you could be missing out on something amazing
Exactly.
in marriage and beautiful kids and a beautiful family. So at my age right now and at, you know, I done worked in corporate, I done did all of that. Now moving here, my life has changed over to where now it's like entrepreneurship and I'm learning that as well. But I want somebody with me to make that journey. Now, it also has a lot to do with who you're with too.
Absolutely.
Like, I mean,
That's a major problem.
not to dog women out, but like the argumentative thing and everything is an argument. I can't deal with that. I like, let's have fun.
Yeah.
We're grown now. We don't have to argue about everything. Let's figure this out as adults. Communication is key.
Conversation,
Conversation. So I totally agree with him, man. I believe marriage is beautiful. I believe everybody wants that beautiful marriage. Some people are afraid of what the marriage could become. You just don't know. Taking a leap of faith in anything you don't know. Business, marriage, relationship, all of that. So.
And to Will's point, we don't want to go into something and potentially fail.
Right.
Yeah.
And then a lot of us don't have examples of what a good marriage looks like. So
Right.
we really have no blueprint, right? So, and then the third thing is marriage is the only time in life you're forced to make a lifetime decision.
Yeah.
Aside from your faith, I believe in God.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
aside from devoting your life and being born again, the only time you make a lifetime decision is marriage.
Wow.
So if you don't have any preparation for that, then it's impossible for you to do.
How did you get prepared?
So the lifestyle that I used to put up on the pedestal,
So what'd you stop doing? Sounds like you stopped doing.
I stopped doing a whole lot.
What's on the do not do list?
So,
Do not do.
all of that.
Just check everything, bro.
Right.
Yeah.
So I moved to LA. I've been in Hollywood since 2006.
You've seen a lot. Seen a lot.
So I was here back when, like, I've seen clubs reopen and close like 5 times. The same venue.
Change
and
hands.
I've been to every single one of them, right? And my pursuit of women was my demise. So as men, I'll speak for myself, we pursue things and we don't think about the aftermath. Like, every action has a consequence. But when it comes to sex in particular, we only care about like what's happening in
right
that
there.
moment,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
I would do anything. I would drive drunk to San Diego
Wow.
and worry about the rest later, as long as I'm getting what I went to San Diego for. I would take a cab to Anaheim and worry about how I'm getting home tomorrow if I knew I was getting what I was coming for. And so I risked my
Livelihood. Yeah. We being open here.
I literally risked my life. Car accidents, been in jail. You know what I mean? I risked my life to pursue that. And so
What was the
at a
straw
certain point,
that like broke the camel's back?
it was
on
the
that?
accident. So I literally crashed into a building, going to follow up with a girl I had met, at a party that I had just left.
She must have been exquisite.
Sheesh.
Exquisite.
We'll go with that. Says why.
We'll go with that.
I was leaving that party and literally crashed my car into a building. Woke up in jail, like, wait a minute.
Wow.
Why was
Every
I
black man's worst fear, like
Waking up. and-
Yeah.
like even having a dream being in jail, you wake up, wow,
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm at the crib.
waking up in jail? And then I was like, okay, alcohol is the reason I'm here. I need to stop drinking. But then the more I thought about it, had I not been pursuing that, I wouldn't have felt the need to continue to drink while I was at that party
Exactly.
to stay in the mode. So getting to the root of it, it was me pursuing sex.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so I immediately said, look, I
Meaningless sex.
It was all meaningless.
it meant something to me.
All of it. Obviously.
So
Anaheim.
Meaningless.
If there's no real connection, it's all meaningless, man. Let's be real.
Yeah. So and at the end of the and that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah. You see,
You know what I mean?
I got the elbows on there. Yeah. I got the elbows here.
So listen, y'all know y'all don't care what they talking about.
I mean, it's the excitement of the conquest. You know, you want to go and you want to, plant your flag. Or whatever you want. I mean, it's just.
We're hunter gatherers.
Yeah,
we are.
It's always been that way.
Animals at the end of the day, just very educated and have a
and
larger
destroy.
brain.
We have a different mindset than the animal kingdom. I mean, we are the only animals on this planet that
have free will.
We even pay for sex, but it's a matter of like even in the male. If you look in the animal kingdom, the males are doing their business because usually there are more females around. I'll give an example. If there was one female deer and 100 bucks, they would die out because that one female cannot support the continuation of life of that species. And that's why it's the other way around, because men, we cannot carry another human being in our womb that we don't have.
Yeah.
So that's why I think it's something innate in us to where, when you're younger, you
eyes pop,
you ready to be like, is that a hole in the wall? You ready to squirrel? Because it's a thing, and that's why I say it's important that you have that blueprint or someone to say, hey, young fella.
Slow it down, brother.
Just to have that, and if you don't, you go out and like you say, you make poor decisions and bad choices that, would land you in the hospital and jail. It's fortunate that you're here to speak to this because somebody else is doing the same thing that you talked about, and you maybe can help save a life. As opposed to, someone's freedom or relationship.